most contractors will already recognize that there's been a pretty serious slowdown this year. Impact is, we hear, different numbers from different places, but the manufacturers are saying, down 30+% this year.
When you drop off a $37,000 quote to replace your heating and air conditioning system, and you leave that email or PDF or packet or whatever you do with the customer, you better bet that they are taking that quote, they're loading it directly into ChatGPT and asking uneducated questions, and you have a new objection handler that doesn't know how to prompt.
People wanting to work in our trades that are unskilled. And I don't know that we have the ability to train them, but AI is taking so many entry-level jobs that people aren't going to know what to do. And they're going to come
senior jobs
to work with their hands.
It is okay to just provide education and information and not close. I don't pitch anything when I get on a call. Anybody that's ever met with me will know that. I spend 49 minutes just educating because I want an educated consumer. I never once close. I don't have to. Imagine if you, in your industry, in your market, were the only one, if everybody's getting the same process, if you guys are all following the same leaders, the same sales processes, because everyone's listening to the same coach. What if you were the only one that was different? Welcome. We are live, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today on our Just Start AI boardroom conversation. I have, of course, the beautiful Miss Stephanie Allen. Hi.
Hello. So excited for today's conversation.
I am too. We are very excited about today's guest, a dear friend for many, many, many years. I love him and his wife and his family and his mission and his vision and his stage presence and his disturbing all of the home services industry by reinventing the way that contractors go to market, the way they serve consumers. You guys, we have Darren Dixon. You've heard him on The Catalyst before, and now we got to have him back. Darren, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. So for anybody that's new to the boardroom, this is a very different conversation. If you're on Just Start AI, those are very tactical trainings. We get down and dirty on how to leverage AI in your business. If you're on The Catalyst, it's hearing the Catalyst success stories, which Darren's son has been on. We call it Following Tyler, I believe.
Yep.
So we've got to hear some really good success stories from him, but the boardroom is different. So to put everybody in the right mindset, the boardroom is about the future, technology evolution, change, figuring things out, understanding consumer behavior, predicting how consumers will change, and really diving into those technology platforms, leaders, influencers, and thinkers who are solving those problems way in advance of needing to solve them, which I love, which is why Darren belongs on the boardroom.
We're essentially inviting you in to hear the conversations that we have as we're building our table to figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to position ourselves for the future. And so we don't have all the answers. We'll ask each other questions. We'll dig in. Some of it's feeling, some of it's knowledge, some of it's grit. It's like, what's the strategy here? And this is a real live open boardroom.
Cool.
Yeah, this is these are the midnight calls that or the sitting at a beach in Kauai and us talking about the future conversations that no one ever gets to usually hear. That's what this is for. So Darren, from your perspective, how do you see the industry changing? I'll just start with the smallest question.
Yeah, I was going to say. Well, I think that most contractors will already recognize that there's been a pretty serious slowdown this year. Impact is, we hear, different numbers from different places, but the manufacturers are saying, down 30+% this year. And And everybody comes up with these reasons why. Why is that? It's uncertainty in the financial markets, blah 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 blah. But I don't believe that that's it at all. I believe that it's much deeper, and it's much more existential, because it's easy to say it's not in my control because it's the market, and it doesn't put money. It doesn't put dollars in your bank, but it certainly takes the onus off of you. The biggest change that I see right now in the market is that the level of desperation to get jobs is at an all-time high, and I'll tell you why I say that is. So if you look at the major big box store, do it your big box store, just launched over the last 30 days an $8.88 tune-up program. Okay. And of course I'm talking about Home Depot, right? So if you know the numbers and you think about what that implies, it implies that, and that's the lowest I've ever seen them go. Like I saw $9 tune-ups from them before, right. But $8.88. I mean, look, it costs you $90 at least to put a tech at a front door. Okay. So if you're going to a service call at $8.88, the customer thinks you're coming in there to do this tune-up for them for $8.88. But just the fact that you would lose as much money as you would lose to show up to that $8.88 tune-up implies that there's a second agenda. And I think that consumers are sick of second agendas. I know that as a consumer, I don't like when I feel like a company has a second agenda, because it certainly can't be that we're there to do a tune-up for $8.88. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense.
They know you're losing money in the gate. Impossible.
So you must
be. I don't know that all consumers know or really understand the implications of how expensive it is to run a business.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think that the customer says to themselves, like I agree. I don't think
how much a tank of gas is.
Yeah.
I just don't think they put it together. Honestly, it's like, what do you mean you can't come out here and do a $25 maintenance? Or an $8.88,
Yeah, I don't think that they necessarily know either, Stephanie, but what I do know is they don't like the way it goes. Okay. They don't like the experience. So
I don't like the way it feels either.
If you look at the way that the industry has continued to evolve, it's working itself into a pinch point that everybody's feeling. Searchlight just came out with the national average to get a job. Okay, so not a lead, not an appointment, but a job.
Yep.
And that job, $895. Okay, $895, and this is data from Google, right? So $895. The thing that I found more interesting than that was that the conversion percentage from an appointment to actually doing a completed job appears to be somewhere around 50%, because the cost to get an appointment is in the 400s. Okay, so that implies,
and the average booking rate is 40%. So it's
right, but that's
less than that from there.
Well, that's the lead to the appointment, right? So the lead to the appointment is the data that you just said supports it, because it's like 152 to get someone to click something, 400 to get them to book an appointment. So there you go. There's your booking percentage issue. And then 894 to get a job. So that implies that something that's happening at that customer's house at a very high rate, they're rejecting and saying, nope, I don't want to do this. Okay. The other thing that you're going to see in 2026 is skyrocketing service prices, because installations aren't going to come back around like they've been in the past. The ground is laying too blanched.
We just noticed that all of our equipment's going up 7 to 10% also.
Well, so that's right. So that's not going to help. But really, like if you use like a farming example, if you don't take care of the ground, then the ground is blanched and it lays fallow, right? And that's a period that we're in right now. And there's some very smart people in this industry that have been saying that for a while, is that all we're doing is futuring. And why? Well, I know that some people don't like hearing this, and I don't think private equity is bad. I think private equity has a very specific financial obligation to future. Okay, you can't buy the future of a company's EBITDA and not expect futuring to come into the now, or else the game doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
So I think that you're going to see consumer sentiment towards the industry is continuing to decline. You're going to see service rates skyrocket, and it's already starting to happen. And you're going to see consumers not be able to afford high price repairs like they're now starting to get. And you can even see it, like Service Titan is now really pushing their financing for service in their software, right? So it's like, hey, get your customer to finance the repair. And why? Because it's going like this. And so
I think we're going to see some more things too. I think we're going to see an influx of people wanting to work in our trades that are unskilled. And I don't know that we have the ability to train them, but AI is taking so many entry-level jobs that people aren't going to know what to do. And they're
senior jobs
to work with their hands.
Yeah. And it's taking senior jobs. It's not just entry level. It's taking programmers, jobs. So let me add in, Darren, specifically to your piece about what's happening in the home and why these deals aren't closing. I'll give everybody something they can, just an immediate win. When you drop off a $37,000 quote to replace your heating and air conditioning system, and you leave that email or PDF or packet or whatever you do with the customer, you better bet that they are taking that quote, they're loading it directly into ChatGPT and asking uneducated questions, and you have a new objection handler that doesn't know how to prompt, doesn't know how to provide all the engineering data, i.e. large 4,000 square foot house, big entryway, they got 3 dogs running around inside of there, ductwork, rust, whatever, all the stuff you guys are expert at. I'm not an expert. I'm an average user, right? What they're going to do is say, is this a good quote? And the comparison data is going to go out to the internet, and it's going to get all the internet pricing for the product and come back and say it's too much, because they're not good prompters. So a lot of this is I think the contracting industry is getting used to saying, okay, I need to get in front of consumers to get the lead on an AI search engine, which is a very different process than traditional search. But secondly, it has to continue to, when you drop off that quote, you better prep your salespeople, comfort advisors, whatever, to don't leave that house without loading that quote into ChatGPT, providing the right context prompt, and then sharing that as a part of your sales process. I've now got contractors that are taking their entire GPT, sharing it, and then providing that as a part of their proposal process. Because AI is closing the deal over and over again and saying, nope, too much, because the only thing it's going to compare against is pricing that's available only on the manufacturer sites, because the contractors don't provide pricing on their sites.
Well, what's really interesting there too is we have an opportunity to add in all of that detail into our quote. And we have to at this point, because we're talking to the agents, right? We're talking to ChatGPT. So we should say that we're taking into account the 3 dogs. We're taking account into these things. We're taking account into all of this. So it doesn't look like an average quote.
Right. The level of detail you include. It's part of it.
So let me tell you let me tell you something that I think fits perfectly into this part of the conversation. So I know a lot of companies like you do, and I have some friends in the business, and I was talking with them recently, and they were explaining to me that they're having to keep installers on standby and paying them standby money, because when they sell a system, if they don't get it put in the same day, their cancellation rate is so high that they're paying lots of money. Okay. And that money is going into the cost again of the job. So So the job is, let's say that their price is somewhere around 50% to 100% higher than their, between 50 and 100% higher than their competitor is. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you're talking about major competitors, not small competitors. You're talking about major competitors in their market. And they're having to do that because everything that we're talking about is leading to what is ultimately going to be the commoditization of the industry. I mean, it's more and more contractors are feeling the pinch to offer their products online, which means that as more and more consumers have pricing available to them, the companies that are out there still trying to use the business model that was, 30 years old, 25 to 30 years old, isn't cutting it anymore. And so, we've talked about this before. The person who says yes is subsidized, or the person that says yes is subsidizing all the people that said no. And the percentage of conversions getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and the price getting higher and higher and higher. And consumers don't want that, so much so that they're finding any information, and maybe it's because they put it in ChatGPT or whatever they did, and they're going, wait a minute, you're trying to charge me over $20,000 for something that a very reputable company will do for me for 12. Okay. And so that's not going to stop.
We don't charge 20, we're drowning.
So
and that's what's happening to the middle contractors out here. Right? We're doing whatever we can to stay alive. And it means we have to charge more to keep a positive P&L than we should. And
right. So there's so many interconnected pieces. This is why this is such a challenge, because if we look at anything in what do you call the thing? Kaleidoscope, where you can only see right within the wall. Anything in a kaleidoscope, all the silos are murdering this whole process. So all these things are connected, right? If you only rely on paid ads, then you're at the top of that funnel as far as your lead costs.
You can't
You're
afford
at that 800. You can't afford. If that's your main driver, you're already at a disadvantage. That's number one. If you are only focused on Google search and not AI search, we have another slice of the pie where you're losing. If you're not focused on bringing in a higher volume of customers, right? Your lead volume is too small. Now your costs are way up because you had a higher volume of lead a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whatever it was, when the market was different, consumer search was different, and so forth. Then you take all the operational inefficiencies within the business. Your payroll is too high. You have too many manual process, too many redundancies, too many everything, which is causing the pricing to have to go up, which is causing us to have.
It's called conundrum.
But I don't have the energy to fix those things. I don't have the energy to fix those things because I'm just trying to keep my head above water.
Right. And we love our people, so we're trying to retrain all of our team, even if we don't have work for them.
I wish there was a short-term answer for everything you're talking about, but there isn't. Okay. And this is why,
well,
it depends on who you listen to. Like,
can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results.
No, this is going to require a sequence of quickly executed major modifications that you're not learning at any event that you're attending.
And that's the major modification.
You got to be real careful who you pay to give you your information.
Advice.
It's got to be disruptive, because what's happening is the people that many of us contractors are looking to are the people we've been looking to for years. And they're feeding us the same advice because it's what worked for them 5, 10, 15 years ago. You cannot acquire business by buying someone's phone number anymore. Like, that doesn't work.
You picked the oldest story in the book.
Right? But you can't, this hunt to kill or hunt to eat scenario doesn't work. I mean, I have people that are still wanting to lean into term text. Is that what we're doing out there? Are we creating terms and then going to a system designer or a comfort advisor and them presenting and that?
Dude, y'all got to get lean and mean. No different than I got to get lean and mean. I had to reinvent my entire world from ground up, everything.
I don't know any industry that I could try to name that is scalable, that leans so heavily on loss leader
Principles.
I just name one. I mean, if you can name a scalable, sustainable business model that does business that way, I mean, I don't know what it is. And
what's hard, though, is
well, and
it's hard to be the one in your community that's different.
Maybe. Well,
listen, it's so there's no easy answer to this. Like,
no,
there's no easy
let
answer.
me throw this out there, though. There is a responsibility to the event organizers, the manufacturers, the distributors, who are still putting the same playbooks as the advisors, the influencers, and the messenger. That's causing a lot of the, like, we can go way back in the supply chain. That's causing a lot of the problems.
I jump on my soapbox every time I can and yell at them and rattle cages. But
I would be interested to hear, like 10 years ago, what traditional bricks and mortar retail businesses were talking about when they started to feel the pinch of Amazon, or what taxi company owners were talking about with each other in a meeting like this when Uber and Lyft started to eat their lunch. And it's like it or hate it. I mean,
yes.
I guess it's just hate it or hate it. The fact is,
or they blockbuster it.
No.
And stay the same status quo.
Or join.
Well,
right? Because those that figured out how to leverage Uber made it work.
So the fact is that if you keep trying to use your old thinking, and the problem is that most everybody that's in this industry, they're not the thought that they didn't come up with any of this. They learned it from somebody else, and we're generations deep of those people, right?
Yes, so just regurgitating the same information with the small modification and a different logo.
So
I know Uber's next, because robotaxi, everybody that's driving Ubers right now needs to be really concerned. Like, can you predict the future that Uber's model is likely going to go away? As soon as you have
Teslas. That's the next investment, is buying those self-driving Teslas.
I need a parking lot. I'm going to a Carvana.
Parking spots.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Parking lot. So, but this is what this requires, right? I mean, I think, and a lot of times you're seeing Uber put on a pedestal right now as being the inventor. Quite frankly, they're the next to go out. Like, the people that are able to predict the future and be able to at least try and see and take action in advance of the change, you're going to win.
The problem is the barrier of entry to the solution is got a really, really, really wide moat.
That's fair.
It's filled with sharks and has burning fire on the surface. Okay. And that's the challenge. And so, there have been indications, though, all over the place in front of us, but you have to choose what you're going to listen to. And if what you're trying to do is get some, and again, this is not a general statement. I'm just saying the facts. Okay. Is that if you're not thinking long-term in your business, then you are screwed, because you are already at a place where you should have been making different decisions then. Okay. And you can't get too far down the road and then all of a sudden go, oh God, let's do something fast now. It doesn't work that way. And so
what do we do today?
The disruption is happening. Okay. And it's happening. It's not because I say so. I watch different models. I watch different I take my information from different places, not someone who's trying to sell me information about how I can get rich quick, because this industry sells diet pills. This industry sells diet pills, and they sell get rich quick schemes to business owners. And that
in their wears and tears.
That industry in and of itself is where people are making loads of money by selling something that somebody else came up with a long time ago about how to turn a business into a retail kind of a business. And the home services business into a retail.
Got to be able to see through it.
And what they should
literally why we started this community is what I said to Jennifer, is that contractors, we don't know what to do or who to trust or where to go.
Hey, listen, I had a meeting with the leader of a group. Okay. The leader, the top person in a group that has hundreds and hundreds of contractors that they sell advice to. Okay. And when meeting with this person, I said, I was asked what my motive was, right? And I explained that my motive was that we are fixing the industry. We are fixing this problem. And the person said, and I said, don't you see the problem? And the person said, we're just trying to like create tools for technicians to be able to sell more stuff. And it dawned on me that this person was in and of themselves nothing more than a duplicate of something else that they had learned from somebody else.
Yep.
Now, so it's just the way that it is. And, Stephanie, you said, okay, well, what can we do today? Don't get hopeless, get hopeful, and pay attention to what's coming, because it's going to come. It's already been happening. You don't realize it because you're not looking at the right thing. You think that but you don't. And Jen, in 2023, beginning of 2023 or end of 2022, we did a couple Quattro events together.
Yeah.
And when we were doing those events, you'll remember all the way back then, I said that this shift is coming. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you get your information from the wrong people, okay, you're gonna be ending up in a problem. The work that's being done right now and has been being done for years, because it doesn't happen fast.
Darren, what we were teaching back then, had everyone implemented what we had taught in those classes, then they would be prepared. Like Steph, you had to go through 6 months of hell with us to go from this, excuse me, but shitty little WordPress website with a couple hundred pages that wasn't properly representing your business. Like, you had to spend 6 months catching up on something that in 2003, I know, Steph, I was like, blah, 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 in your ear. Darren and I were teaching these classes saying how critical, like, it wasn't just that piece, but there were, 5, 6, 7 different things that were critical elements when we were teaching these Quattro classes that had everyone done that, they would have been in a better position right now. So now we're having to pay catch up with what we were talking about 2 and 3 years ago, 3 and 4 years ago. To even get baseline.
Hindsight's 2020, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that you've both learned a lot and come way far in this year also, right? Like a year ago, we might have done a new WordPress website, but 6 months ago,
you still would have had the proper content library, even if the technology was different. You would have been way ahead because you would have positioned yourself on traditional search, which was what was most important then. We would have at least done, you would not have been in the same position.
But that's
even if it's not there, the content.
Like 2 different strategies. You're both saying that things need to change. I think that we have contractors, Darren, you say be hopeful. Not hopeless. And I always say, like, hope is not a strategy, but I definitely believe that right now you have to understand that you still have opportunity to win. You just have to decide that you are going to be different. It is time to be disruptive. It is time to understand that what has worked for us for the last 20 years is not working anymore, and it has to be a massive shift. And so
it starts with the mindset of every owner.
Can we get specific? Because
yes,
I hate when I'm listening to something and someone's like telling me all this shit, and then they don't actually say what really I need to hear.
Yes.
Okay? So in 2022, you and I did a study, and we found that the amount of search and the amount of clicks in the marketplace that we studied were significantly less than what they should have been. And I said to you right then and there, I said, more people than you realize have been taken off the market because they have a plan. The consumer has a subscription plan in their house. When we started third-party administrating,
you and I, we dissected it. We turned it into a pie, and what we did is we started looking at the pie of households, and we first said, how many homes have been picked up by BlackRock and VRBO and so forth. Then we said, how many homes are now under some kind of subscription with their energy company or something else? Like, we went through this entire piece, and how many are locked in, who owns the wall, who owns the subscription, who owns the house. And it started trimming down who's available.
Right.
On the market.
That's why a job costs $894 to get today.
Right. Because the pie is shrinking.
It's a shrinking pie that people don't know why. So when we start talking about what to switch to and being hopeful and you need to change and you need to do this, they don't know what to change to. Correct. So it's really super simple. Okay. The most valuable home service business that we're aware of in the world is worth about $5 billion. Okay. Now you can start to classify home services in a bunch of different categories. We look at every service needed within the home. So we're talking plumbing, electrical, HVAC, appliance, pool equipment. I mean, everything that you need to keep your wine cooler, your stand-up freezer, all these, I guess those all fit as appliances.
Roofing, garage door, yeah.
Sure. Garage door, exactly. So here's the thing. More and more people are signing up for subscriptions that cover its insurance. They're getting insurance. They're getting an insurance product that covers those repairs. Now, I know because we administrate thousands and thousands of them as a third-party administrator for the utility company that we have as a major client. So these plans are becoming more and more attractive because of the way that the industry has treated the consumer. The average consumer does not have $1,000 available for an unforeseen expense. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's a car repair. It doesn't matter if it's whatever. It doesn't matter if it's an appliance, your air conditioner, whatever it is. So what do? Oh, well, you can finance it. Oh, well, that's great. They don't even have in many cases, the credit to be able to do it because things are tough. And then you got the affluent on the other hand, who really want things to be really, really convenient. They're tired of having to call around and try to find. They want more like concierge level
yes.
service. Right? They want to be able to just either push one button and have it solved. And by the way, I just want to say that this false idea that we as contractors have, that they want a relationship with you and they want to sit down and have coffee when you're at their house. No, they don't. They want their shit to turn back on and they want it to happen as quickly as possible.
They want it to work and not have to think about it.
I don't want to have a conversation with you. Yeah. I don't want to sit down and go through all my family albums with you. I don't want to do any of that. I want you to come in my house. I want you to fix what you're there to fix. And I want you to high five me. And I want it to be fast. And I want it to be clean. And I want it to be affordable. And this idea that you can't have all three, keep telling yourself that if that's what you believe, and you're going to be wishing that you thought different because that is not true anymore.
And honestly, I wish he never had to come.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's a grudge purchase. We call it a grudge purchase. It's like, there's nothing fun about having to fix my
plumbing
pump. Like, you know what I mean?
My roof is leaking.
Oh, that's exciting. I mean,
I want to get to know my roofing company.
Yeah, right.
Like, nobody called you because they want to hang out, right?
No. And then but it's systemic because if you look at the way, like I give kudos out to Service Titan because they've really built some vast functionality inside that tech stack, and I understand what it takes to do that, and so I have a lot of respect for them. However, they engineered a product that was designed for the old way of doing things. Okay. And that technology is going to become less and less and less important as this process gets more and more and more commoditized. Service as a repair and maintenance as a service, as a subscription. Okay. And commoditized pricing and replacements. I mean, that's what we're facing, and that's what's going to happen. And it's not because Darren Dixon says so. It's because this $5 billion company that I'm talking about has been quietly proving it day in and day out while you're struggling and spending $894 to get a job that has an average ticket of $400 or $500. Okay. And then we gotta keep that technician in there for 2.5, 3 hours so that we can really justify why we're going to ask for $16,000 to $25,000 when we leave, because we got mouths to feed. And that model is going away quickly.
Darren, your truth doesn't feel good.
Huh?
What if you
it rarely does. Oh, no, listen,
we all know it. We all know it. And we also feel held hostage to decisions we've made.
Well, yeah, because they're long term. I mean, look, we talk about building a perpetual motion machine. Like the industry can become a perpetual motion machine. Well, it moving the right way, but it's also doing it moving the wrong way too. So the more, it's like the faster you, the more you recognize the problem, the faster it declines. Does this make sense? I mean,
yes. So I put out a video this morning because of a call I had with a client yesterday. Client called, said basically, you guys are idiots. I keep getting called for this service I don't provide because there's blog articles that are related to it. And I'm like, awesome. Well, how'd you handle it? And he was like, well, I told him my marketing company's an idiot. I told him why they don't need that. And if they had a regular maintenance plan, then they wouldn't need that. And I was like, awesome. Did you book the appointment? And he was like, well, yeah, but you need to take that off my website. I was like, so you don't want those calls? And he was like, well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we don't provide that service. I'm like, but you took the call because, right? You took the call. So what if you owned the relationship with the house through a monthly recurring subscription, and whether you provided that service or someone else did, you had regular monthly recurring income. And if they needed a service that was outside of something you provided, you also got paid on that service. That's what's available.
That's what's available. So
that's what's available. That's what we're rolling out.
That's what's available. So the solution that will be the product solution that will be provided to the people listening and your clients and anybody else who wants to start fixing the problem quickly will be available in January from us. And I mean, it's technically available today, but it'll be available in January widespread. And it will be what I believe is the most impactful product that the industry will have seen. I want to give kudos back to the mentors that I've had throughout this industry who knew this 23 years ago. 23, and they probably knew it earlier than that, but 23 years ago they knew how this was going to go, but the technology wasn't there to get it done. And that's the thing about certain types of visionaries, right? They see so far ahead that they don't even have the resources available to them today to get it done. And so, like we'll have to talk about my Instagram story sometime. Okay.
Yeah.
The technology, so anyway, the fact is that the technology is already engineered and already being used on a daily basis. It's been being worked on. One of my favorite quotes is, rarely are the accomplishments of the great acts of sudden flight, but they, while their competitors slept, were toiling through the night. And so
I'm sorry, I just got big old goosies.
So, myself and my partners and the people that see things the same way and colleagues like you guys, we're bringing this change, and we're going to be able to provide a product to contractors that they can provide to their customers, their consumers, both current and future, that will allow them to
protect
and continue to grow their businesses. And so
exciting
with a full vertically integrated technology stack that goes with it and does it all with AI built in. You're not going to get three
more pieces of software.
Here's the reality, though, and it's something that I keep saying, is I really believe that we're in the messy middle right now, and we're going to have to figure out that transition. But step one is awareness and adoption of something new. You know, as contractors, we have to get around the idea that we can keep doing what we've been doing.
You know what, Stephanie? I think that the vast majority of contractors they know
I think they're becoming really aware.
But we're desperate and we don't know what else to do to keep our families fed and our teams fed. And so we keep doing the same thing.
It's the Noah syndrome.
It's scary and it's a risk.
It's the Noah syndrome, right? Noah, if you believe in like biblical stuff, like Noah was saying to these people,
I know where she's saying stuff.
for a long time, Noah's going, hey, look, man, okay, it's coming. And people are laughing at him. Oh, Noah's crazy, you know, and that's okay. But
Steph's getting goosies right now because she's been saying we're building the ark.
The water got deep fast. And that's happening here. And there's no way to sugarcoat it. I mean,
you know what I think is beautiful about our arc is we're inviting everybody on.
Yes.
Well, that's the only right solution that you can have, is one that helps everybody. And you know, it has to, if it's the right solution, it helps everybody. And it's not contractor centric. It's not only consumer centric. It helps everybody. It helps,
supply chain.
Everyone wins.
Everyone wins. Yeah, you guys, this is so, like, close your eyes for a minute and rethink a new business in 2026, right? And that business, we're trying to address that pie I was talking about, right? Where there are a set of consumers still going to Google. There are a set of consumers that are now no longer going to Google and go into AI search. There are a set of consumers that prefer convenience and can afford, and it's palatable for them to have a monthly subscription to protect these things they have no interest in actually spending money on, that their household relies on to live and survive.
Right.
There is a solution to reinvent your business and accomplish all three. There is a solution to reinvent your business and have monthly recurring revenue. There is a solution to be able to offer a set group of services, yet get paid and be the point of contact and own the house and get paid on all of those other solutions that are provided. Like all of these things, there is an option to get free checks in the mail because all your rebates are processed automatically. All these things exist right now.
It makes business so much lighter.
Yes. And then you can scale without continuing to stack humans and humans and humans and humans, right? There will be a solution in 2026 to operate more efficiently and more effectively with AI and an MCP server and proper technology. There will be options for your technology to help you run your business instead of you having to run the technology and hire consultants to run the technology. All of these things are here in 2026.
So because of the work that Darren has done and Jennifer has done, and when you invite them to your table, you get to do the work that you're really good at and be a genius in the trades and be a genius in the homes. And we get to focus on that again because the technical need is still going to be there. We still need tradespeople.
Absolutely. Yes. You know, I'm glad you said that because that was like the thing I wanted to make sure that we said before, because I guarantee there are people that are going to listen to this and go, yeah, but what about workforce? And what about there's not enough technicians. The answer, that's not a true statement. Okay. There's plenty of technicians.
Well, and there's also severe amount of layoffs of highly skilled engineers that do not have a home right now.
But let me just talk about technicians just for a second. Okay. Mm-hmm. One of my passion projects is for a technician to be valued because they're a technician. Like technicians that are just technicians that are primarily technical skilled in this industry are looked down on. It's like, if you can't go in there and you can't flip that sale and you can't get that ticket and you can't do all that, you're looked down on. Like you're literally like on a board that is posted in these businesses' offices. Like, and these dudes, it's like it's like a shame board. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, so true.
I ask the exact same question all the time. If your customers could see the way that you train your technicians to get money from them, would they still want to be your customer? Are you aligned with them? You're not. And I've only met a couple. I've only met a couple contractors, and one recently, Jen. You know who, the water heater guy, that really cool dude that you introduced me to. He's the only person I've lately heard said, "Oh, I can say yes to that question." I'm like, "Good, so can I." And we're only we're few and far between, because I promise you,
doing technical training right now. That's what we do.
Technicians should get paid livable wages for being technicians, for doing a good job and being clean and friendly and prompt and professional acting and technically skilled. That is what we intend. Our use of technology is to take all that other stuff that they're asked to do away from them and give the consumer an experience that is low pressure, service first, low pressure, and let the customer shop, choose, or do what they let them choose. Contractors can go, well, they still get to choose. We didn't force them. Well, you manipulated them. Okay. Manipulation is the name of the game that most contractors follow. And I know I get cussed for saying that, but it's true. And the only people that cuss are the ones that don't want, you to say it too loud, because it's true. And the industry is now moved away where, you talk about AI and technology and everything that we're doing, and we're going to still be able to provide for consumers what it is that they need when it comes to upgrading their hardware in their homes, but it's going to be a completely different process on how it happens.
Let me throw this out there. Every single meeting I have with the company asked to do business with us because we didn't sound like every single other marketing agency. It is okay to be different. It is okay to just provide education and information and not close. I don't pitch anything when I get on a call. Anybody that's ever met with me will know that. I spend 49 minutes just educating because I want an educated consumer. I never once close. I don't have to. Imagine if you, in your industry, in your market, we're the only one. If everybody's getting the same process, if you guys are all following the same leaders, the same sales processes, because everyone's listening to the same coach, what if you were the only one that was different? I'll tell you, you'd feel like it does for our business. My pipeline is freaking full, like full from 6 a.m. It's dark when our team gets up to have conversations. It's dark when we get done. Because we're the only ones that sound and do something entirely different from the industry. It's no different.
It's brave.
It's
brave, and it takes work. And so you spent a long time building that, right? The get rich quick scheme does not sound like yours, Jen, but it's what works, and it's disruptive, and it's how we're going to go into the future. So Darren, you said you hate to come onto these things and not talk about what it is. Sounds good. What you're talking about sounds good. How do we contractors join this movement and do what you're saying we should be doing?
Oh, we're going to have a launch party come first thing in January, baby.
So we will be announcing all of that in January. And through specific affiliate relationships like CI Web Group and others, and channel partnerships that we have with very, very large companies that have millions of customers already that are used to paying subscriptions, we will be bringing this product to market. But not only will we be bringing the product to market to provide the product to contractors to use, but we will also be picking very specific markets in which we are going to be helping develop those markets and building those markets into success opportunities for those who want to get on this train and ride it with us. So yeah, that's what's happening. And I'm not letting the cat out of the bag on this. I'm not trying to be cheeky, but you'll see in January, we will be launching. We're piloting right now in multiple locations. And I believe that I stood on a stage in Kauai and was asked as a keynote speaker to present a presentation on the future of the industry. And that was at the end of 2022. That was in December of 2022. And I said, what you will see is the emergence of a super company. You will see a super company come out of this, because when you really do things the right way, they appear as if they happened overnight, but they didn't. As I said before, it's not an act of sudden flight.
The overnight success that takes decades of building.
Yep. 10 years. I mean, the thinking has been 10 years or longer. The work has been 6 years. And,
we probably have thousands of hours logged of conversations.
Here's the
hundreds of thousands.
For everyone listening, I've spent a lot of time talking to a lot of people in the industry. It is very rare that you meet people with servant hearts like Jennifer and Darren. Because your mission is not to serve you. Your mission is to serve contractors and their clients, the homeowners. And it is very rare that is actually pure mission. And so to be among other leaders who really believe in the aggregate win is just an incredible place to be. And it makes things hopeful again.
It's a movement. You called it that in the beginning, a movement. And, I sit around and I'm mesmerized when I see how many of the right people continue to be drawn to us. I have I have a group of shareholders that are amazing, but I have the two most important partners in my life are Matthew Palmieri and Whitney Dixon. Those are my partners. But I will tell you that I consider, I've gotten to know Stephanie fairly recently, but, Jen Bagley and Mike Hicklin and I have been, as you said, we've smoked many a cigar over these topics. We've, even though we're not really smoking them that much anymore, but
we're chilling on this.
Really kind of chilled on that
for years.
But we've spent a tremendous amount of time negotiating thought and testing that thought in a unbiased environment, and all of that work and the believers that believe in what it is that we've done and we're doing are why this has happened. And the purity of the source of all of that inspiration is much bigger than us. Yeah. And that is really where the credit goes, and we're just workers. So glad to be part of it, and I'm really glad to be invited to forums like this where I get to share these things, and grateful for everybody that contributes to helping make this industry that we love so much. Really what we love is taking care of people. I mean, the industry is not that fun if it's not about taking care of people. Climbing through attics and being in the mud and putting your hands in poop and stuff like that, that's not fun. It's service. It's taking care of the consumer. It's taking care of people who are having a problem and restoring sanity into their lives. That's what really is the most exciting part about it. So, well, I'm a believer, and I am so grateful for this table. I am so grateful that there are servant leaders like you that have come together and that you've put so much love, blood, sweat, tears, money behind moving this forward. And so for those of you that believe in this mission, you don't know what to do, follow along in January, because obviously we're not getting it today, but keep following along, because there is hope out there. It was a dark year for me in 25, but I am so excited about 26 and beyond in the future. And that's because I have been able to sit at the table with leaders like Darren and Jen. So thank you both.
Well, Steph, so shout out to you, because you're stepping out of, I'm going to say, how do I put this? The cliques, the clubs, the sheep, and you are standing on on a pedestal that is an uncomfortable space. And you've put a lot of trust in all of us every day, whether it feels good or not. You've put a lot of trust in yourself and your team, and you deserve massive, massive credit for standing out from everything on your own and saying, I want to be first. I want to try, and I'm going to keep trying. And I admire you.
Thank you. I don't want credit. I want to help and learn out loud and let others join and win together. Let's go. So
the tip of the spear is an uncomfortable place to be, but it's the only place to be.
Yeah. Yes.
So
come along, guys. Come along.
Yeah.
Many are called and few are chosen. And the reason that few are chosen is because the rest gave up. And so
we're never started.
I think the last text I said to Darren is thank you, Obi-Wan Kenobi, or something like that, because he sends me these things where I'm like, are you going to give me answers, or are you just going to tell me I have to think more?
Well, when somebody asks me a business answer, I'd rather have, if somebody asks me a business question, I'd rather have that person find the answer through a direction.
So. Yeah, both of you. Thank you for that.
It's a thinking game. All right, you guys. Darren, we freaking love you. You know, I mean, love, family love. You, Whitney, Matthew, your whole crew, your team of 1,000 children and their babies. I don't know how you do this with all
1,000. What is that's a big number.
Better build a big arc.
I was just gonna make up my own number. Oh my gosh, yes, he does all of this while managing an enormous.
Well,
you got to get back to cursor.
Again, like I couldn't do anything that I do if I was not equally yoked. Like I have the very, very best wife in the world. And I could not do anything that I do if it wasn't for what she does and the sacrifices that she makes.
That's real. We're going to get a tear from Darren in just 1 second. So with that, he's going to make me tear up. We're all blessed to have amazing spouses at this table right here, that we're all in business. We're all in business with our spouses at this table right here, which is really necessary. Yeah. So, all right. With that, before we all start tearing up and crying again on the boardroom, we love you guys. We thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to just sit here, process, think outside of the box. 2026 is the year of the disruptor. This is time. Like, let's reinvent ourselves. Let's reinvent the industry, and let's reinvent the experience we provide the consumer, because it's really what matters. All right.
My word of the year is unleashed, and I cannot wait.
Let's go. I like that. Very powerful. All right, deuces. We're out of here. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.